Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'll be showing you how I made these classic white pants. I think they're a staple in any wardrobe. Some of you guys asked for a pattern in my last video. Unfortunately, I don't have my patterns ready to share as of yet, but I will link a similar pattern in the description box down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to subscribe if you do. Let's get into it. So my first step is going to be to do my pleats. I've just got 1 inch pleats here with about a 1/2 inch gap between them. So I'm just going to fold them over from one red line to the next one. And then I'm going to sew down about 6 centimeters down a straight line, down that way and that way. Alright, so now I'm going to sew the pocket bag. I'm just going to grab my pocket bag and I'm going to place it over the top. I've just indicated an X to tell me that that's the wrong side of the fabric. I'm going to pin and stitch along the seam. So I've sewn my seam, I've pressed it, and then what I want to go through and do is do a top stitch over the top of that, which will look something like this, which will help the pocket bag actually fold over nicely, and then I'm going to press that. So next I'm just going to pin my pocket bag to the pocket that I just sewed, and then I'm going to sew around that, and that's the front pockets done. I'm going to do that on both the left and the right side. So as you can see, I have stitched my pockets together, the inside and the outside. I've also serged my pockets, and you can see top stitch here just so I can attach it and for it to lay flat to the front of my pant leg. So that's what we're up to, and that's the front of the pants done. So what I've done is I've sewn in my dart, then I placed a piece of interfacing about 4 inches down to the end there, and then I have ironed it down. The interfacing piece is 1.5 inches wide and it's 6 inches long. And on the other side, what I've done is I have come down 3 inches, marked my center point, and then marked my opening. It's about 4 inches wide this way. And what I'm going to do is, after I have got my welts, and you should have 4 of these, 2 for each side, I've marked them, I've interfaced them, and then I've marked them. And what I'm going to do is place them with the raw edges touching where my markings are. And I'm going to sew down that red line, making sure I hit those intersections. It is about 2 centimeters wide, and that's a centimeter where I'll be sewing. Alright, so that's what that looks like. What you want to do is kind of look at your line that you've marked before, fold it in half and snip to have a bit of an opening, and then you want to cut to where that last stitch line is, which is right there. So you just want to cut along that line and then cut across to the corner there. To push everything through on the other side. we have it. And now to just clean it up, you want to go through and stitch down there, and on the other side you just want to go through and stitch down your little triangle. So this is my back pocket. It is about 16 inches in length and 5 inches wide, and I have just done a 5 by 5 inch fabric of my good fabric, just so that when you go into the pocket you can see the good fabric and you don't see the bad fabric. I have pinned it down and I'm just going to stitch here, and then I'm going to fold it up, and that's going to sew into my waistband. Alright, so you should have your piece that looks a little bit like this, and what you want to do is flip that way, and then you're going to stitch down, and then you're going to fold it over on itself, and you're going to place it over the top, and you're going to stitch down again. You probably want to serge that edge and the bottom edge, and when you're done with that, then you can sew around the sides of the bag, and then that's the pocket bag done. So this is our back pocket done, and you can see that I have just sewn it and I have overlocked around it, and on the inside you can see the good side of the fabric on the side that you would see if you were pulling something out of your pocket, and then on the other side I've just got my lining fabric. As you saw, I went through and I overlocked or serged my seams on all 4 pieces that make up the leg all the way around, except for of course the top and the bottom. I have also interfaced my fly shield, which will fold over nicely like that, and I've done that on just this piece because of course this is the only piece with the shield on it, which is on my right side, and on my left side it's just a straight line, so the left pattern piece will look like that. So this is my back piece. I'm just going to join my seams together, pin it, and I'm going to stitch all the way down the leg, and I'm going to do the same on the side seam, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I will turn one of them inside out once I've done that, and keep the other one the right side out. Alright, back, and that's what that's looking like. And so what I'm going to do now is just turn my pants inside out. And there we have it. So now we have 2 legs. And what's left to do is the fly shield, which I'm going to press, and then do the zip and the waistband, and then our pants will be done. Alright, now to do our zip, what you want to do is open your zip and then turn it to flip it so it's backwards. You want to open the side of your pants that doesn't have the extension on it, and you want to pin your zip to that side from the top just down to where your opening is. I'm just going to mark that as well. And then what you want to do is get your shield that you just serged, and you want to put that over the top. Remove the pins as you go and pin it nice and flat again. And I'm gonna base stitch all the way up to the end. With your sewing machine, you just want to go through and stitch from that red line all the way to the end, and what you're trying to do is literally get as close to the zip as you possibly can get on the other side. Turn the pant inside out and do up your zip like I have done, and you want to match your pants just to make sure that that's all nice and smooth. And again, I'm going to baste this shut. Alright, now to do our zip, what you want to do is open your zip and then turn it to flip it so it's backwards. You want to open the side of your pants that doesn't have the extension on it, and you want to pin your zip to that side from the top just down to where your opening is. I'm just going to mark that as well and pin it down just nice and flat. And then what you want to do is get your shield that you just serged and you want to put that over the top. Remove the pins as you go and pin it nice and flat again. And then just transfer your markings over. This is the end. Right. And then you want to grab your needle and just a hand sewing needle, and I've just got black thread on there so that I can see it better, and I've just done a knot and I'm gonna base stitch all the way up to the end. Sewing machine, you just want to go through and stitch from that red line all the way to the end, and what you're trying to do is literally get as close to the zip as you possibly can get on the other side. And while you sew, you can actually feel your zip. So I just want to sew right here basically, which is about 1 centimeter away. Now that I've sewn that close, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch my zip down. Right, so now I've come back and I've stitched that down and you can see it on the side. You just want to make sure that you're catching the shield that's underneath, leaving about 1 centimeter gap between there, and then just coming to the end where your zip actually stops. So I'm going to trace that over. All right, and then I'm going to sew down this line. Ignore that line there. So what I've done is I've opened my fly and I have measured all the way across, and then one of my measurements is from the fly shield to the side seam, which gives me that piece of my waistband, and then the next one is obviously from the fly extension to the side seam, which is that piece there, and then I've done the back of my pants as well, and that's that piece there. They're about 2 inches wide, each, and then just the measurement around my pants. So what I'm going to do is join them together now. Place the bias binding on the edge of my waistband, and then I'm going to top stitch over it, then I'm going to fold it over and press again. To make the belt loops, I've just got a 17 each piece, which I have also serged on the sides, and it's about 17 each long and 1.5 wide. I'm just going to fold it on itself. Alright, so these are my 5 pieces for my belt loops, and I'm just going to attach them on. Now I'm going to place my belt loops, and I'm going to start off by putting them in the front. So I've got this one that's going in between the pleats that I made earlier, and then I'm going to put one right in the middle. Well, that one's in the center back. So I just place that side one halfway between the front one and the center back. I'm then going to baste these down before I attach my waistband to that. So I have just sewn in my waistband and this is what it looks like. I hand stitched it in so it was nice and neat. And now I'm just going to fold over my belt loops, fold them down, stitch them down, and then hem the pants, and that's the pants done. Oh, and apply a little fastening over here.